Hello and welcome to the Refresh RF-A701 body-worn camera. So here we're going to show you the main device and the parts breakdown. You see it comes into a little box with a magnetic connection. So we introduce you here to the main recording device. We have some protection for the LCD screen. There's also some protection for the actual camera lens itself, which I'll try and take off as carefully as I can. Here we go. Put that to one side. We look inside. So we have a nice thick foam rubber packing box. We have the USB power charger, USB cable, very fit quality. We have the car charger, so we can plug it into our car for the USB charging. And of course we have the main clip. Okay, so there we go. So we'll put that to one side. And I'll show you here some optional parts that you could use. This is the HDMI cable. So we can have the HDMI output of the device, and we can record the OSD, so I can show you. The main purpose for the OSD is for the playback, so you can see it on a large screen. Additionally, there's an optional here, which is our rubber windscreen car adapter, and also here we have an optional cable for the camera. There's an external. Okay, so here we'll show you just the connectivity of the device. So the main unit, obviously the most prominent use would be to be worn. So you can see here, it's a very simple push down. It's a solid click. It's an adjustable bracket, and you can see it's like a very strong crocodile clip. And also it can actually turn, and it's a hard lock position ratchet. I seem to have turned the unit on. Okay, and to remove, you just push the little clip down the top and it's a release. The same for the car connection as well. You have a little clip and it just slides down, and you can see it locks in. And again, this has the ratchet, and the suction is an adjustable, and you can see that's ratchet again, which you can lock. So obviously on the windscreen, lock down. That's a good strong connection. And again, you also have an additional adjustment, so you can almost achieve any possible angle you like on the mobile position. We remove that off, put that to one side. If we look at the connections on the side, we have the USB. See, it's a micro USB, and our little micro USB cable just plugs into there. Yeah, so we have our USB connection for the powering the device, either the power charger or of course the car charger. And of course you connect it to a PC for the retrieving of data, and that includes Macintosh as well. So the HDMI, or the HD video output, is just the hidden flap, and there you have the HD output, which then you connect into your high definition screen. So here we're going to move on to the buttons of the device, and we start to familiarise ourselves with the main functions of the unit. And we begin with power. So we have the bottom button will, when you press it, will power on the device. Of course, you're going to get a display from the camera. Again, holding is a power off. We return on. A short click of the button will turn off the LCD. Short click again will turn it back on. Next we move to the second button from the bottom, and you can see this is a little bulb, and this controls the operation of the white light or the torch. So a simple press will turn that on and off. This also operates as a back button or previous menu when using the OSD display. Next we have the laser light. The laser light is used to position the unit when it's connected to the body, so the light will be, you're able to check that the angle of the device whilst worn is correct, so the picture you see will be at the right angle. Of course, when it's worn against the body, the device, you don't normally see the display because it will be against your body. Simple, quick press will disable. The same button, if you long press, will enable, you heard the IR cut, so this is the manual operation for the LED. The unit can operate in manual or automatic for night mode to enable you to disable the automatic, which will normally give you the glowing LEDs visual. That may not be desirable, so the manual operation will enable you to control that function. Long press again will disable that. Next we move to the audio. As soon as you press, this enters the audio recording mode. And visually on the OSD, you can see it will have the audio recording duration, and there's a little icon that has the little microphone as an operation. Press again, stops the audio recording. The button which normally doesn't get used unless you have a radio or PTT is the button here. We have no connection for a radio, so the push to talk obviously has no function unless the radio PTT cable is connected to the correct device. Onto the other side. We have the record button, which when pressed invokes the record on the unit, and you see the LED status turns to red to say the unit is in recorded mode. There is a function where you're able to have a pre-record, and the LED status actually will flash for a pre-recorded duration and also a post-recorded duration. There's also a haptic feedback, so there's a vibration within the unit to let you know that recording or a function has commenced, which can be turned on and off. The same feature is available for the top LEDs, that you can disable those, so that is if during a dark period using the device, then it won't be obvious that there's a recording in operation. We press again, we'll disable the recording. The last button on the side here is picture, so we hold and the unit takes a picture. Now we have set this unit to have a burst mode, so you can have a single press, can take a whole sequence of JPEG images in a burst. So there's a, continuously saved images on the storage. Now the OSD on the unit is invoked by pressing, you see these buttons here, 1, 2, 3. You have left, right, or up and down, and the middle button for enter. And the other button is the second from bottom, and that's for to go back. So we enter by pressing the right button. And what I'll do is I'll plug the HDMI cable so I can record the OSD so it's much more clearer. So I'll move now to the LCD screen. So it can be a bit more clearer. I've covered the lens just to let the screen be black so you can see a bit more clearly. You can see if I'm using the left, right buttons, and they allow me to have options at the top. Obviously we have the camera for pictures, and then there's the general tool configuration. And here we can see, you start with the camera and you're able to press the middle or the OK button, which allows you to make a selection on the device. And you can see there it has all the different recording resolutions and modes and frame rates. Obviously we use a 1080p default. And then the back button is the second from bottom right, which will go back the menu, and press again to go back. And you can press back, will actually then remove the operation. I'll quickly give you some information that you can see visually on the screen here. See, it's much more clearer. Starting from the top left, you have the recording. So that is the little camera icon glows red when it's in recording mode. The 9 hours 52 time shown there is actually how much space is available for recording on the unit at the current resolution. So if you're looking to record a particular amount of time or duration, you can change the frame rate, and the device obviously calculates how much recorded data is needed, and it will then retrospectively show you how much can be retained on the memory. Moving along from the time, you see the little icon that looks like a microphone. That indicates that with the video, the audio is in operation. Now on the OSD, you can actually change that function. Audio is part of the record the settings on the unit, and you can see here we have mute recording. So if I enable that and go back out the menu, you'll see the icon will have a little red line through it to indicate there's no audio. So you can have just video only operation. Next to that, obviously, is the battery level. Now we move down to the bottom, and you can see there the DSJ is this is the name that's given to the device, which can be independently set for each user, as well as the device number. And that's used as part of the file names that's stored on the unit. Below that, naturally, is the time and the date. The time and date format can change for the respective regions of Europe and Asia's for the month, day, or day, month, year format. And obviously, that's the current time. The time and date on the unit can't actually be set from the device. That is an administrative function that's only available via the PC application when you actually log into the device with the correct password. Next to that, we have the little icon, and that's just showing us how much free space and the capacity of the space on the unit. And here you can see it 28.9 gigabytes. So this is sort of a 32 GB unit with very little recorded information. Now we're going to move to some of the slightly more advanced features that could be used by people, and we start with we go to the OSD, and you notice entering the OSD it remembers where you was last positioned. So I select the camera. If we go up, and I'll select pre-record. So default is off. So what we can do is we can enable pre-record to be on. Now what this will do is, as soon as the unit is actually turned on, it will start recording to a buffer, and that's a 30-second buffer, so the unit will actually always have the prior 30 seconds of recorded information stored on the device. So as soon as you actually hit the record, there is 30 seconds before recording. The same applies to post-record, and here you can see there's a post-recording duration time which you can specify. So when you actually manually record and stop recording, the recording event will still happen for this set duration. Where when you do that, the OSD display will give you a visual countdown of that time, so you know that the recording is still in operation. And if you chose the LED status to be on, that will also flash to show that the recording is still operational. So we go back now to the resolution as seen before, and here you can set the unit resolution and frame rate. So if you wanted it in 720p, 60 frames, you just specify that, and then that's done. And when you go back to the menu now, you can see the unit has updated the recorded duration time to, we see here, 8 hours 16 minutes can be recorded at 720p. If we go to the snapshot, we had the unit set to snapshot mode, and you can see here burst. I was taking 10 pictures, and you can change the burst rate up to 30 images. Burst rate is normally perhaps used whilst maybe for traffic control or faster moving objects that you want to guarantee at least 1 or 2 frames which are correctly in focus without motion blur, so you'll have a sharp image on the unit. We move on to a couple of functions that's useful for the users, and we move down press button tone. The device itself has a tone for each button press which can optionally be turned off. I've turned it off on this unit because you have lots of movement of me showing you the unit, and you have lots of beeps. Here we have the IR cut from being automatic and manual. I've specified manual. An LED on. This is where you can change the LED, the status on the top of the unit, to be the visual indicators of the functions that's currently running on the unit. And here's the vibration mode. So that's the haptic feedback on the actual unit, or when you process an operation. It's very similar to mobile phones, have those, like the vibration. Here we have the date format modification, where you can change year, month, day display. System information will give you more information about obviously remain in video and also remain in audio. If the unit's used just for audio only recording, then you can see it can record quite a long, many hours of recorded space just on the unit. And here there's the percentage of the battery power, as well as some revision information on the actual device's software. Now if I show you some playback, you can see here that the system has the playback. We're seeing that obviously on the OSD from the unit's HD output, which is the preferred way because the 2-inch screen is very small. And here I'm selecting left and right, and I can select obviously different media, pictures, video or audio, and just selecting will allow you to then select up and down and press enter, and it will just do a playback. And you can press pause, and also there's the fast forward, rewind capabilities of the unit. Yep. So here's one last remaining feature that's not obvious to use, is you have the up and down or the left right buttons, and if you long press you actually then invoke the unit to be a zoom, and you can see up to a digital zoom level can be done with the unit, and both left and or the right will allow you to have the zooming in and out digitally if you need to get close to an object for recording purposes. You see this unit is in recording mode.